They hit a tracker in my engine bay. I hid it under a semi headed west. Then Repo team drove 800 miles while my truck never left my house. I was elbow deep in the engine bay of a 2019 Ford F-150 when my knuckles brushed against something that shouldn't have been there. It was a wire, a thin, black, non-factory gauge wire that had been zip-tied so tightly against the main harness that it was almost invisible unless you were looking for it. And I was looking for it. I'm a mechanic. I've been turning wrenches for 15 years, and I know exactly what a stock wiring harness looks like. This was a parasite. I stopped ratcheting. The garage was quiet, just the low hum of the heater battling the February chill and the distant sound of traffic on the highway. It was Monday, February 16th, President's Day observed. I had bought the truck 48 hours ago on Saturday during a blowout sale at a place called Frank's Auto Kingdom. You know the type of place, inflatable wavy arm guys out front, free popcorn that tastes like cardboard, and a financing office that smells like desperation and cheap cologne. I pulled my hand back and grabbed my shop light. I shined the beam into the dark crevice behind the fuse box. There it was, a black plastic box, about the size of a deck of cards, magnetized to the firewall. It had two LEDs blinking in a rhythmic, predatory heartbeat. Green, red, green, red. I traced the wires. One went to the ground. The other didn't go to the battery for power. It was spliced directly into the fuel pump relay using a vampire clip. My blood ran cold. This wasn't just a GPS tracker. A tracker just needs power. This device was wired to interrupt the circuit. This was a remote kill switch. I felt the heat rising in my neck that had nothing to do with the shop heater. I stood up, wiping grease onto a rag, my vision blurring slightly with rage. I had paid $22,000 for this truck. I put $5,000 down in cash. I signed a contract that was thick enough to choke a horse. And nowhere, absolutely nowhere, did it say that Frank and his cronies had the ability to shut off my engine while I was doing 70 miles per hour on the interstate if their computer system decided I was 5 minutes late on a payment. I grabbed a pair of wire snips from my chest. I wanted to cut it. I wanted to rip it out and smash it with a hammer until it was nothing but silicon dust. But I stopped. My phone buzzed on the workbench. I walked over and picked it up. It was a text message from a number I didn't recognize. Welcome to the Frank's Auto family. This is an automated message to confirm your vehicle safety system is active. Your truck pinged successfully at my home address. Drive safe. They were watching me. They were watching me right now. They knew the truck was parked. They knew exactly where I slept. I looked back at the truck. If I cut the wire now, they would know. The device would send a power loss or tamper alert instantly. They might send a repo truck. They might try to disable the ignition remotely before I could finish the job. I needed a plan. And I needed to make sure that when I hurt them, it wasn't just a scratch. I wanted to total them. I put the snips down. I picked up the black box, carefully peeling it off the firewall without disconnecting the wires yet. I flipped it over. There was a SIM card slot and a serial number. I took a photo of the serial number. Then I took a photo of the vampire clip digging into my fuel pump relay. That was illegal. In this state, installing a device that can disable a moving vehicle without explicit, bold print written consent is a felony. It's reckless endangerment. If that relay tripped while I was merging, I'd lose power steering and brakes instantly. I walked into my house and grabbed the sales contract off the kitchen table. I poured a cup of black coffee and sat down with a highlighter. I read every line. Arbitration clause, interest rate disclosure, warranty waiver. I read the fine print, the microscopic print. Nothing. There was no GPS addendum. There was no collateral management device disclosure. Frank had slipped up. Or, more likely, Frank didn't care. He assumed his customers were desperate people with bad credit who wouldn't read the paperwork and wouldn't know what a kill switch looked like even if they stared right at it. He assumed I was a mark. He didn't know he just sold a truck to a guy who diagnoses problems for a living. I went back to the garage. I looked at the blinking lights. Green, red. Okay, Frank, I whispered to the empty room. You want to track me? You want to see where I go? I disconnected the device. What you have to understand about these buy here pay here places is that they operate on fear. They prey on people who need a car to get to work, to pick up their kids, to survive. They dangle the keys in front of you, but they keep a digital noose around your neck. Soon they are going to see their asset making a run for the border. The panic that is about to unfold in that dealership showroom isn't just going to be about a lost truck. It's going to be about the realization that they messed with the wrong mechanic. For full version follow on screen instructions.